Hello everyone and welcome to another video with me, Umbraze, and today we're looking at a banner, and we're looking at a banner without the game. Not that the banner's up anyway yet, but hey, it's not just global people who get extended maintenance. JP is currently in some, well, not extended, it's emergency maintenance because everybody thought everything was okay and it turns out it's not. But today we're going to be talking about the FF3 banner as well as a few other things, so let's get right into it and talk about the banner. And there are 3 new 5-star units this time. One will be free, that will be Zans, and Hein and Onion Knight will both be on a banner. So there's a lot to kind of talk about these units, so let's get into it with a little bit of music, of course. Yeah. Alright, get some FF3 music going, because this one is definitely for FF3 fans, but not just FF3 fans. It's actually for a lot of people who are looking for a new powerful DPS and maybe didn't get CG Rain. Now's your chance to get some good stuff. But first, let's talk about the free stuff that you can get by just playing the event. So first off is Zans. Zans is a mage character. He is earned from just basically getting currency. And I gotta say that Zans is actually pretty darn good. Here, let's get the other two off the screen just so we can focus. Starting with Zans, Zans is a mage-based character. His TMR is a 40% magic with 15% HP and recover 3% MP per turn. That's just a pretty solid TMR for mages. The extra HP is nice, especially if you're going for more survivability, and the extra MP up is great for a lot of mages that just burn through MP, so this is great. Super Trust Mastery is Zans Rod, 22 attack, 148 magic, 24 spirit, and 10% MP. Again, just a really solid super TMR to get your hands on for mages, so I don't think there's anything bad about this. Like, this is basically very close to being, in terms of, you know, magical power, like CG Nichols Super TMR, so this feels generally good. He also has a base 209 magic, which is pretty low. His, even with passives, his stats are not that great, and he doesn't have the best equipment selection in the world, so this is definitely your budget mage. Super Trust Mastery is Demon King's Meteor. AoE 13, 50% magic attack, ignoring 50% spirit. Looking at his kit, he has some extra human killer, which is at least kind of interesting. Boosts for equipping rods, giving him earth and darkness resistance. So that's pretty nice. He has 5% natural MP recovery per turn. He also gets boosted magic when equipped with a robe. He has double cast, triple cast when equipped with his own TMR or super TMR. Extra HP and even some true dual hand or true dual wield magic. He also has Quake in his kit, he has Meteor, he has Flare, and basically the rest of his kit is kind of a little bit weird. He has dual black magic, but he also has Burning Fever, a AoE 12 hit fire attack that's not exactly the highest percentage by any means, and it chains with Onion Slice. I mean, I guess the Onion Slice family needed some support, but this probably isn't it. It's such a weird combination, but there you go. Zans, I guess, is Onion Knight's friend. Okay. He has Ancient Daga and Ancient Stonga, both which are, you know, earth and dark magic attacks that are 5 hits, so Chaos Wave chaining, basically, except backloaded damage, so it's okay, but the dark Chaos Wave chaining definitely could be useful. Stone? I guess there are stone users out there, so it's fine. Ancient Tribra, I think it's supposed to be Ancient Libra. Scan the target, debuff 60% for Spirit for 3 turns to a single target, and Self gives him some extra modifiers for his Ancient abilities. He has, you know, some chance to stop, 80% debuff for Dark resistance in his kit. He also has one that gives 80% chance, or 80% debuff for Earth resistance for 3 turns AoE. And then he, in his 7-star kit, he has Ancient Meteor and Ancient Quake. Both of those, again, seem to be spirit ignoring, multi-hit, and give modifiers to other of his abilities too. So It's interesting. Ancient Meteor powers up itself, and Ancient Quake powers up itself, which is kind of interesting. The chaining on it, I'm not entirely sure at this moment because they're just not available in the game yet, and it's not completed on the data. But really, the last ability that he has is a cooldown ability. For 4 turns, give himself 200% magic increase, 240 MP heal, split over 4 turns. Light resistance of 100% for 4 turns for the entire party, and enables quadricasting for 4 turns. That's on a 6-turn cooldown. So generally okay, but not anything great. Like, Zans is a free unit. He's a pretty darn good mage, but he's nothing overly special compared to a lot of the other mages that have came out. So moving on. And next up is Hein. Let's just bring up Hein real quick. I believe he's that one. Yes. Uh-oh. Oh good, we're still under emergency maintenance. Well, that'll just stay up the whole time just to prove it. Alright, so Hein. Trust Mastery is 25% magic when equipped with a rod, 25% magic when equipped with a hat, and 10% fire, ice, lightning resistance when using a rod, 10% fire, ice, lightning resistance when using a hat. Pretty nice TMR. 50% magic plus 20% to the major elements, fire, ice, and lightning. So pretty good, I think, overall, especially if you're building for Elemental Tetris. Super Trust Mastery is Hein's Hat, 30 defense, 62 magic, 30 spirit, fire resistance 20%, ice resistance 20%, lightning resistance 20%. Again, just a solid magic hat. If you don't have Charlotte or Carlet's Super TMR, this isn't a bad thing to get by any means. Base magic is 215, which is not overly exciting, but with passives you can get up pretty high. Again, I think one of the big problems with Hein is equipment. He has a pretty limited selection for armor and weapons. Not that you're really looking for too much for this guy. Obviously, mage equipment is better, but there just isn't many options with him. So, looking at him, his limit burst is definitely more support, as it is an AoE 100% fire, ice, lightning resistance for 4 turns, and an AoE 50% damage reduction for 4 turns, and an AoE 150 MP heal. Again, really nice support, giving a lot of elemental resistance for 4 turns, but 50% damage reduction is pretty good too. You'll have to max out his limit burst to get that, but AoE 150 MP heal too is pretty good support for the party. He kind of ended up being just a pretty cool little support unit with its limit burst. Looking at his active abilities, basically Chaos Wave Chainer, because you know that's pretty much every mage right now. They come in 3 different variants, fire, ice, and lightning, of course, because that seems to be his specialty. With his mid-level spells, he gets basically, and this is kind of interesting, his fire one will, for instance, be a 5-hit, 350% attack, no backloaded damage by the looks of it. AoE 80% debuff for fire resistance for 4 turns to the enemy, but also gives an 80% ice and lightning resistance for 4 turns to your party. So that's pretty cool. It's kind of Elephim-like, and each of the fire, ice, and lightning works in that way of debuffing its primary element, yet giving your party some of the other elements support, so that's pretty cool. And in his 7-star, he just gets a more powerful stacking damage one that can go up to, I believe, 1750% for each of them. Again, pretty much what we see with all of the Chaos Wave Chambers in terms of stacking. Hein definitely doesn't seem, or Hein is definitely way better than Zans, obviously, since one is a pay-for unit and the other is just a free unit. But the thing that I kind of like about Hein is he's just got some pretty cool support. He also has some interesting cooldowns. Elemental Jail, debuff 100% fire, ice, and lightning resistance for 4 turns AoE. AoE, same elements, 100% resistance for your party for 4 turns. Enables access to basically quadricasting for 4 turns. That's on a 6-turn cooldown. But yeah, just really nice there. Strengthens his abilities, gives your party some resistance, gives him quadricasting. Pretty good. 6-turn cooldown means that you won't be able to keep it up constantly, though. And then he has fire. He has all of these different curse abilities, basically. They are 120 MP. First one is an AoE 100% debuff for fire resistance for 5 turns, AoE, but gives AoE 150% ice and lightning resistance for 5 turns. And again, each of these are basically are just cycling them. So Firewall, Ice Casket, or Fire and Ice Curse Wall, and Thunder Moth. Basically, they debuff a certain element and give 150% elemental resistance. Just really strong elemental resistance, provided that these are the elements you're facing. If they're not, then, well, Hein's use is kind of weird. I mean, he's not going to win, I think, any awards for being... No, he's just not going to win any awards for being the strongest mage, but he kind of fits a Chaos Wave chainer that has options of chaining with different people in the game right now, while still being able to provide some really nice support. It's definitely more, I feel like, a survivable mage, provided that the elements are useful. If the enemy's not using fire, ice, or lightning resistance, or is immune to all 3 of those elements, then Hein is just really worthless. So that is something to be thought about. Definitely a specific unit for a specific problem, but how many bosses are fire, ice, and thunder resistant? I feel like you'll probably have at least always a option with Hein. Looking at his passives in his kit, he has some just MP, magic up, 7% natural MP recovery per turn. He has some counters to give some elemental resistance to the party. He has natural limit burst fill of 3 crystals per turn. When his HP falls below a certain percent, he gets buffs. I believe that they are elemental resistant buffs, which is kind of an interesting little support ability. As W cast and triple cast, I should say. Triple cast comes, of course, with his TMR or super TMR. Bonuses for equipping rods, and of course, he either gets 50% true dual wield or true dual hand magic, depending on how you have equipped them. So yeah, Hein feels generally okay. In terms of mages, though, I don't think he'll win any big things. I do believe that he should be UOC-able, but I don't know. I think there are better mages to go for, so I'm giving that one a pass. And now we come to the last one, which is, of course, Onion Knight, who is really quite small. Oh, he's so big now! And Onion Knight is definitely the one that you can tell is the one you want to get. First of all, this is probably going to be a trend going forward. CG protagonists have always been really powerful, but so have summon festivals, and Onion Knight feels very much like that. Right out of the gate, I will tell you that Onion Knight surpasses the DPS capabilities by a long shot of lightning, and as well is faster than Bart. So Onion Knight wins both of those. In terms of against CG Rain, though, he does pretty much not. You have to understand that CG Rain's limit burst is just so bloody ridiculous that Onion Knight will probably just lose on that principle alone. Not even to consider the fact that CG Rain has just better utility in his kit too. So that is something to remember when I'm about to talk about this. But that is not to say that Onion Knight is any slouch in terms of the DPS that he can output. First of all, Trust Mastery, Onion Boots, 40 attack, accessory, Onion action, recover 5% MP per turn, 50% attack when dual wielding. Basically almost like Bart's TMR, the only difference is you have MP recovery instead of limit burst per turn, I believe. So, or some limit burst up. It's been a while since I equipped that accessory, that I've really paid attention to it. Super Trust Mastery is 50% attack when equipped with a sword, 100% true dual wield. Just a fantastic Super TMR, 150% attack stats, really strong. Onion Knight's base attack is 206, and looking at his passives, he gets a fairly nice HP boost, as his HP can go up to, with pots and passives, over 9,000. Again, pretty nice there. 650 attack feels a little bit lower, but his modifiers will make up for that, I feel like. MP, fairly decent. Defense, fairly decent. Spirit, fairly decent. So yeah, no overly complaints there. Weapon selection is great. He has lots of weapon and better armor selection, so that's all good. Limit Burst is what is called the job change attack, shown off in my last video. AoE 13 hit, 3,050% physical attack, self 500% damage modifier on a whole bunch of his abilities for 5 turns. And this is the big thing. So his Limit Burst costs 34 crystals and it's 13 hits. And the only way you could talk about the frames is if you said that they were just pure bad. I mean, there's a weird, awkward break in the middle. So basically his Limit Burst is only himself chain unless you're spark chaining kind of thing. So I'm not overly excited about that, and neither should you be, because his Limit Burst is not the thing you should really care about. Uh-oh. The game's gone. I clicked on the wrong thing. We'll just get that back up real quick. But yeah, looking at his Limit Burst, the Limit Burst and the damage is not the thing you're interested in. Onion Knight is kind of the opposite of CG Rain for some parts of that statement are true. In that Onion Knight's Limit Burst is really only serves as one purpose, which is giving the modifiers to his other abilities. Otherwise than that, there isn't really, like, his Limit Burst will never be anywhere near what Rain's will be, so it's not overly worth getting too excited about. It's not bad, it's just awkward chaining, and yeah, it's just whatever. Now, he has natural dual wield in his kit, 100% limit burst fill rate, which is great for getting his limit burst because you're going to want those passives always active on him. Sleep and confuse resistance, 7% natural MP recovery per turn, so he'll have a fair amount of MP recovery, which is good, and I'll talk about why that's good in a second. Boost for equipping a sword. He also has fire, water, wind, and earth resistance when equipped with a sword. Good status immunities, you know, sleep, confusion, paralyzed, blind, petrified, the big ones you kind of worry about for a attacker. More elemental resistance, some limit burst per turn, W casting naturally in his kit, some true dual wield damage as well as the chain modifier for true dual wielders, and yeah, he gets basically only 50% true dual wield is what I see in his kit. So you'll need about 150% to complete, so his own TMR and Super TMR would do it. Continuing on, he just has, of course, the Limit Burst at the start of battle, 20% Spirit, 40% attack, 40% HP, and some extra stuff for equipping a sword, basically. So he has a fair amount of elemental resistance for his main elements. That, of course, still being fire, water, wind, and soil. And so he has a ability that can give himself limit burst fill rate, which is Onion Slice Chain. Again, that's going to be hard to find chaining partners other than himself. So yeah, it's really looking like Onion Knight is going to be a self-specialist, but not completely self-specialist. He has Onion Slice abilities also in his kit that are 12 hits, of course. 400% with that also give a AoE 70% elemental resistance for 3 turns and a self. The elemental resistance is AoE, but the attack buff that he gives, 150% attack, is only for himself, and he gives a modifier to his fire skills, his water skills, his wind skills, or his earth skills, depending on which one you're using. But his Onion Slice abilities are basically what give him a attack up. But 150% attack isn't that great, so it's not overly exciting. More than anything, it's the Onion Slices feel like they'd probably be good for elemental resistance, and he's got a wide range of elements. Next up, though, is his 4 options of Stardust Ray Chaining, because of course everything's a Stardust Ray Chainer here on the JP side. That's just the way it is. Fire Slice, Water Slice, Arrow Slice, and Stone Slice. Each of them are 10 hits, backloaded damage with a heavy focus on the backloaded damage. Debuff the enemy's resistance, but they are building debuffs. So first it is 60%, then it is 90%, then it is 120%. So you have to plan your turns out carefully to make sure that you are going to have all of your modifiers ready for when you hit that 120%, because 120% is only for one turn. So if you're not going to get that, if you're not going to be ready on that one turn or something happens, you're not going to be taking very good advantage of his elemental debuffs. And what's worse, I think, is that just for the first couple turns, it's just not that strong. Yeah, you're going to be setting up for really powerful things. And again, his modifiers are really, really high on all of his abilities. Once you start using all of the power-ups that he has, like his limit burst and everything like that, he will be an incredibly high damage dealer that is not based on limit burst. These abilities are 54 MP, so since he has triple cast in his kit, if you're consistently triple casting, MP is the only thing I'm kind of wondering about until I really try it. I'm not sure how great it will be, but that's kind of the thing that I'm a little bit worried about. He also has a debuff attack and magic for 4 turns, AoE of 50%. That gives 150% modifier for his a lot of abilities. And then we get into his 7-star where he has his Fire Shredder, Water Shredder, Arrow Shredder, and Stone Shredder. These are the better damage abilities. They are backloaded damage, 380% on the final hit, ignoring 50% defense. So those are the real ones that you want to be using. You want to make sure that he is using his debuff, and then you go into using his bigger abilities for the next 2 turns. Last but not least, and this is kind of the exciting part because I'm an AR chain fan, True Chopped Onion, an AoE 29 hit at 50% physical damage, ignoring 50% defense, with an AoE 1 hit, 400% physical attack, ignoring 50% defense. So it is backloaded AR chaining. This is the first time we've seen this that I'm aware of at the moment. Really excited. I'm super happy to see AR chaining. His AR chaining is probably going to be insanely powerful, especially because he can actually triple cast it. He can triple cast AR chaining, which should not work. I mean, it should just basically be like a mess trying to get that to chain properly. And his only option for doing that is himself, but that's still really cool to see AR chaining. Hopefully it'll show up on a non-Summon Fest unit. Daddy takes a sip. Anyway, so yeah, this is a absolutely powerful option, but there are a couple of problems that I'm noticing. One, first of all, most of his Stardust Ray chaining is fixed to specific elements. That's not a bad thing. It just means that you want to be careful when you're choosing your equipment, or if you're going to go the True Chopped Onion route of doing that, 78 MP a pop and potentially triple casting it means that you will eat up MP quite fast, and you'll have to plan ahead to make sure that you get an element, because he cannot elemental imbue himself. He has to rely on his abilities for using specific elements. Not an overly bad thing, but just something you got to be careful about, since so many other characters just give themselves the element. I mean, it also means that Onion Knight might be a little bit better for, anti-dispel in some aspects, but And his 2 cooldown abilities, remove all debuffs from himself, give him a 200% attack increase, remove the chance of getting attack broken for 3 turns, and then enables triple casting for 3 turns, or for 2 turns? Oh yes, for 2 turns, as well as give himself a 200% modifier for a whole bunch of his abilities. So you got to kind of use his limit burst, then his cooldown, then you want to make sure that you're also doing his debuffing his elemental abilities, and then you just go into high chaining for the next couple turns. His last ability, his last cooldown, 99 MP, Twin Sword Kai. Oh, I should say that other one's a 6-turn cooldown, available turn 1. Twin Sword Kai is basically, again, just a cooldown ability, backloaded Stardust Ray chaining with a 70% defense debuff. Really great if you can debuff the enemy. If not, you're kind of hosed. 120% attack and magic buff for 1 turn to the entire party, so it kind of supports the party, but not overly great. Long story short, what do I think of these? And I need to find where my text went. So the FF3 banner is, of course, it's a summon festival. You can't UOC Onion Knight. You're going to have to either spend Lapis or tickets trying to get him. I don't like the banner. Hein on there, I feel like, is just a okay mage that feels pretty situational and probably not as exciting as a lot of the other mages. Not to say that he is really bad. I think he's actually still quite good, but he's not overly excited. I feel like really Hein is just on there to make it more difficult to get the Onion Knight. Onion Knight is a undoubtedly very powerful character. It's between him and CG Rain for the most powerful characters, and until we really test Onion Knight, it's going to be kind of, you know, wait and see just how much damage he can output and whether his utility and rotation really makes him better. But my assumption is based on utility alone, as well as, and not even including the Limit Burst, which the Limit Burst alone, Onion Knight should be, CG Rain should still be the clearly better unit, and Onion Knight should still be a very close second. So those are kind of the top two physical DPS now. Hein and Zans are okay. Not Onion Knight, but okay. Overall, I don't really like this banner. I wish people wouldn't support this so we could kind of get this at least out of the, you know, characters. Plus, I feel like there should be a ton of bonus units for this one if you've been playing the game for a while. So you shouldn't need to go on the Mog King. But you guys are, well, some of you are adults. But I will leave it up to you to vote with your wallet and your resources what you want to support. Now, with that being said and done out of the way, happy April Fools, guys. We're going to just ruin Alum's April Fools joke. So apparently there is going to be a special banner for April Fools. That April Fools banner will give you guaranteed blues. Haha. I feel like this is pretty low effort. Unless there's something else, this feels pretty low effort. That's it! Anyway. The only other thing to mention is the step-up banner. There will be a step-up banner for Onion Knight. This is heavily baited, and I did not include this into my banner review, because I think that in general, I'm not a big fan of the banner at all, but it looks to be like it will be a 25k Lapis step-up, 3 goes for 1 person. Step 1 is a guaranteed rainbow, so yeah, there you go. And at the end of Step 5, it looks like you are guaranteed a Onion Knight. Not even a guaranteed Hein or Onion Knight. They really want people spending Lapis. But yeah, with the increased rainbow rate, I mean, there is a better chance that you could get this. Looking at Step 1, they are definitely trying to bait people into getting started on it, because once people start a step-up banner, they're likely to go all the way through. 4-star EX tickets, some Super Trust Mastery tickets, some max level Cactars, and then your Onion Knight. Pretty good chance that you'll probably end up with 2 Onion Knights through this. So, yeah, heavily baity. I'm not super interested in it. I'm not interested in Onion Knight at all. So, best of luck to you who are pulling on it, but wish you wouldn't, because I kind of want to nip this in the bud. And now we come to the true test. Is it going to start? Nope. And that's a good way to end the video. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time when we talk about something else. See ya.